Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome, family community. How are you doing today? How are you doing? Well, today I have another surprise guest for you. I get acquainted right along with you since I will be receiving a bit more in depth look at a woman who has endured and weathered some tumultuous storms, but evolved and ended up glorious. And as you can see, beautiful, more beautiful than she began. A Ghanaian who spent most of her time in Nigeria, where she experienced and navigated the complexities of love, family, and personal growth. She completed her high school and tertiary education in Nigeria, then earned a digital marketing certificate at Open Labs in Ghana. Her personal journey of overcoming emotional and physical hardships forms the foundation of her very inspirational true story. Now settled in the United States, our overcomer continues to embrace resilience and hope as she builds a new life for herself and children. Without further ado, let's welcome no other than the author herself, Mrs. Nancy Aidoo. Welcome to the YouTube
Thank
channel,
you.
Ames Lounge.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm so delighted to be here. Thank you.
Glad to have you. Excited to have you. Welcome. Thank you for coming on to tell us a bit about yourself and your very wonderful new book. Now I meet my authors either through book fairs, authors themselves, marketing, but I met you through my husband telling me a bit about you. And then we connected so quickly. It happened so quickly with you. And you were just getting ready to get your book. You were getting
Mhm.
ready to get your book for the first time. You sent me a copy. And as soon as it was opened, it was like there was a force there. I don't know what it was. I could not put the book down. I couldn't put it down. And I was still recuperating from the flu and the bug that I had. So I had some time, some downtime. I sat there and I read that book almost all day. And I finished it within a day. It is such a spellbinding, captivating, great book. I can see this as a movie someday. But I am going to get right into learning more because I was so intrigued with the true story. I had to hear it from the overcomer herself. So I can't wait to hear all about this. So tell us, who is Nancy Aidoo?
Thank
What are
you
your
very much.
hobbies and where are you from?
Thank you very much, Andrea. Sorry for cutting you. And my name is Nancy Aidoo. I'm a wife and a mother of three beautiful kids. And I'm originally from Ghana. I grew up in Nigeria due to my father working in Nigeria. So I had all of my educations in Nigeria and most of my friends back in Nigeria. So I'm a new author in the blog. I'm not actually a writer, but there were times I tried to dabble into live videos and try other means to be able to pass my message across because I've been working on this for a very long time and I don't know how. I don't know which medium to use, how to go about it. So what I did was I had to pray over it and be like, okay, then it dawned on me like, okay, I think I should write a book about this because I felt I can hold this testimony to myself. It's going to help a sister out there. So that was how this book came about.
Beautiful. So, what are some things you like to do outside of now telling your story? As you said, you weren't a writer before. You just came upon it, just came upon you. So, what do you like to do? What are your hobbies?
Okay, naturally, my hobbies, I like to cook, you know, cooking, like being creative, just adding stuff. Sometimes I don't go by people's recipe. I try to come up with my own recipe. I like to cook. Then I like to take a walk, like just to clear my head. I like to take a walk for myself sometimes. And I'm this Netflix and chill kind of person, you know, like in my being in my comfort zone and watching movies and also reading, reading.
Nice.
But when it comes to the reading, I am selective. I'm
With what you
selective, and there are some kind of I like watching movies too as well, and just being a wife and a mother.
Nice, nice. I love to cook as well.
Oh,
So
lovely.
how long did it take you to write this new book of yours? And how did you feel when you first got to touch your book, this book that you birthed?
Oh, it took me like, let's say 3 years. Let me just say 3 years. It's been a long time, but 3 years of thinking, procrastinating, nervousness, and everything. It took me 3 years to write the book. And the first day I got this book, I was like, oh my God, my baby. I felt like, when a woman gets pregnant for 9 months and be expecting the baby to come on and finally the baby is out. Ooh,
Yeah.
that was how I felt. I felt so fulfilled and so happy. Like,
Nice.
oh my baby. Oh, I was jumping all over everywhere.
Well,
I'm so
again,
happy.
congratulations. I know that feeling. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, Mrs. Nancy Aidoo, your new book is out, Breaking Free, a journey back to myself.
Mhm.
Beautiful. Such an empowering, captivating title. I
Thank
get the
you.
sense with our main character in the story, Abina,
Hmm.
attending her hotel institute and in the book, and is very different. She is very different from the Abina who fled back to Ghana and from the Adina that we know at the end. So, can you shed a little light without giving the whole story away? Can you shed a little light about Adina, beginning, middle, and end?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Abina was in the beginning was a very playful, is fun to build with person. I can I was more or less like a tomboy in between. But I like to do what boys do, like jump and all that stuff. I had a future ahead of me. I was a very lively person. I'm just the light of the party, life of the party. I'm that kind of person. I have my own vision, even though I came from a humble background. I don't let that, you will hardly see that in me way back. If I don't tell you, you won't know. I'm that kind of person. Then Abina in the middle. Ooh, Abina in the middle is the one that went through hell and back. You know, in the middle, I forgot what I stood for, my worth. I lost my courage. I lost everything. I was just there. I only knew I was existing. The only thing I knew is I'm breathing. I can see. I'm just there, right? That is Abna in the middle who lost herself. Then Abna in the end is she found her courage. She stood for herself. She did not allow the situation around her or surrounding her break her. So the Abna in the end is a courageous Abna, which I say sometimes when I look in the mirror, I'll be like, I love the woman I've become now. I thank God for not, giving up. I thank God for the woman I've become because now I have so much, so much career ahead of me. I'm not going to put much of that out, which I have in plans, and I have a very supportive husband who actually is being supportive all the way. So Abna at the end is a courageous Abna now.
So, what inspired you to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to write a story on Nancy's journey, her pursuit to freedom,
Mhm.
and finding herself from that stranger you became. What inspired you to write that story?
What really inspired me to write that story is God. I'm not going to lie. Because it was done on me one time. I reflected about everything that had happened. I was even questioning myself. How did you overcome all this? Because I know a lot of women could have gone through what I went through, lost themselves, or they are right now 6 feet under the ground. And I reflected on so many things that God was just coming through for me. He was just coming through. He didn't look on my imperfection to say, I warned you, but you didn't do it. I warned you, you didn't do that. Right? So he inspired me. He gave me that mindset of, how I pulled you out? There are a lot of women out there who are going through what you're going through, or even worse or less. It doesn't matter. You have to put this book out there. So my testimony and experience with God really inspired me. I won't lie about that. Yes.
I love it. I
Yes.
love it.
So God's spirit, God's intervention, his strength, everything inspired me to write the book.
And we thank you for writing this wonderful book. I know so many are going to pick this up and say, that's me, or that's what I'm going through, or that's what I went
Mhm.
through, or similar. So thank you. Is
Thank you.
everything in this book real? Is it tweaked in any way, or is everything that you go through just genuine?
Yes, it is 100%. Even if I'm not missing some, though, it is. It's undiluted. It's straight. It's a real life story that happened to me. Sometimes when I even think about it myself, I be like, I'm sure somebody might read this and be like, I'm exaggerating. But that is one of the reasons why God's Spirit pushed me to write it. It will touch somebody because somebody might be going through less and feel like I don't have a way around this. I'll just stay here, or I'm in bondage, kind of thing. Or when I put my story out there, I feel they can read it and be like, if she can pull through this, I can do it.
I can do it. I can do it. I can persevere through whatever storm it is I'm going through because she did it.
Yes.
And I love it. I
Yes.
love it. And I kind of asked that because I hinted at 3 points, 3 pinnacles in the story, or two of them, really. And I was like, but here, for instance, there were doubts. You had so many doubts. You
Mm-hmm.
had dreams. You had warnings. And the instance that Kunle, who was Abina's partner in the book,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
stated one time, once you remember to be a good girl, do as I say, not to challenge him or challenge Kunle, and everything will be fine, on page 40 in your book. So, why then did Abina still start a relationship with this man? After she knew all this, she got all these signs. Why?
Well, like I said, sometimes I go back myself, I'd be like, yeah, you are stupid. And you're not the only one asking this question. I had friends who have also asked me these questions as well. I think the fear of my background, the fear of, okay, um, financial fear, let me put it that way. And I'm not going to say I was naive. It's just that it's like I was making excuse for him. Because the reason why I thought about that was because you know, Kunle was trying to come over, like try so many times. So I thought at the back of my head, like what that statement means is when I call you, pick. When I want to see you, come. You get my point? Like I reversed everything on myself. I took the blame, I took everything, like, oh, maybe what it was trying to say is anytime he needs to see me, I don't need to run away. I need to just come around. And no, that's how to be a good girl. That that was what was at the back of my head. You know, a friend called it I was being naive, accepted, no problem. Because when a man says that, then you should be like, why did he say that? But it did not occur to me. I took the blame and be like, okay, maybe what he's trying to say is, don't run away from me. Stay. Anytime I want to see you, and I'll treat you good. So that was why I stayed. And it
Okay.
was rather the opposite, actually.
And now you went through the turmoil, you're going through your storms and the chaos and all, and then you have your son, Timothy,
Mm-hmm.
and Abina gets the opportunity in the midst of that chaos to go to visit her parents. And you kind of divulge your story to them. They got upset and annoyed and so forth, and they pretty much begged you to stay. Why not have taken that opportunity as your escape, realizing that, you know what, this could be a new beginning? Why not remain and not return at that point?
Yes. I had the opportunity to stay in Ghana when I went back with Timothy because it was Timothy I actually had then. But I grew up in a family, even though we are from the humble background, my father and mother stayed together. They raised us together. I wanted that kind of family so bad. And again, I started reflecting and taking blames like, okay, maybe if I had done this, maybe this wouldn't have happened with him, and I felt ashamed of myself, traveling and coming back with Timothy and, people around the neighborhood had to see me coming back with a kid and staying there raising like as a single mother. I don't have a job. I don't even have anything to call mine. So how do I even raise this boy? Okay. My parents, it's like I'm bringing my responsibility back on them. No. Okay, you know what? I'll go back and fix it. But the thing is, I went back and it was worse. But those are the fear, financial fear, wanting a family, raising, not wanting to raise my son by myself, not wanting to be a single mother. Let me just put it that way. That
Mm-hmm.
those are the fears I had. And even though in the midst of that craziness, I was still a bit attached to Kunle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he will call and say some sweet things to make me feel, oh, everything will be okay. I'm so sorry. I apologized. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, maybe I'm the problem. I'll accept the problem and make amends. And I went back. And I think that was my downfall, making excuses for narcissists.
Okay. All right. And there you have it. All right. So sometimes people inflict pain on others and hurt. And that moment we say, I will never forgive this person. I will not forgive what they did to me. But somehow, somewhere, as you go through the healing process, part of the healing itself self involves you saying, you know what, I know I need to forgive. That's a part of my healing.
Mm-hmm.
So on page 81, and I'm going to go there, as you said, as I sat there holding Timothy, right? I'm going to read it. I
Mm-hmm.
felt the weight of my decisions settle on my shoulders. I would have to survive this for his sake, but I knew deep down that I would never forgive Kunle for the lies, and I'll stop there. Don't want to give away too much. So at that moment, you would never forgive. But now that I'm going to use Abina at the end, do you think at this point she has now forgiven Kunle as she got her freedom and she became free?
Yes. Now I can say I have forgiven Kunle. Why? You say? Because God has blessed me sufficient enough to be able to forgive. Because if I had not forgiven him, that will make me doubt God and make me not put his miracles, testimonies, love, mercy, and all these good qualities about God out there. I'll be selfish with God, and I didn't want to be selfish. So since God came through for me, and I was like, who am I not to forgive? Because I think he was just a tool, an instrument that the devil used to come to me. Because there's this saying that says, when the devil cannot penetrate you spiritually, he sends a narcissist, right? So that was my situation. So since God was able to see, He is the Alpha, the Omega, He sees everything beyond what we humans can see. He was able to like hold my hands, just like a child will hold on to a father's hand and pull her through. Jump, hey, jump from here, do this. It is a scar. The experience is like a scar in my mind, though. But I'm like, for me to further get God's blessings, the more I need to forgive him. So that was what I did. But way back, going through the process and trying to get myself back and trying to reflect on what has happened, I kept saying in my mind, I can't forgive this man because he has took a lot away from me. He stole my youthful time. He did a lot of damage. Name it. I had all that negative things from him and all those mental damage. It got to a point I forgot my name. You asked me my name way back, I would have to think and remember, okay, I think my name is, it was that bad. So since during the healing process and God is able to pull me through, just like a father does for a child, I'm like, okay, now it's just a phase that is past. I'm going to forgive so I can see more or receive more of God's blessings. So that was why I was able to forgive him.
And I like the part when you say, so he can bring you through, because you learn this lesson as you jump from
Mm-hmm.
point to point. You learn different things as you go through that journey, as you go through that, whatever you went through, the storms of life. Let's put
Mm-hmm.
it that way.
Yes.
In order for you to travail and in order for you at the end to be grateful enough to say, you know what? God has given me all that I need.
Mm-hmm.
I can now forgive this person and move on.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so what was the most significant obstacle you would say you had to overcome to achieve this freedom, this victory? And how did you mentally and emotionally navigate through it?
Well, the obstacle I had to go through, I'm sorry, I just remembered something and it clicked in my head. There are a lot of obstacles, but I'm going to mention a few of it. I lost a baby in the process, and it sometimes when I think about it, I'll be like, this is one of my stubbornness of not paying heed to signs and warnings and everything from God. But I'm still going to forge ahead. I lost a baby, and it's not like I was sick. I was only stressed during the process, though, of carrying the pregnancy. But I knew I was okay. The baby was healthy. It was just some kind of delays for hours. I'm not a first time pregnant lady. I'm not a first time mother, but it took me hours for me to have the baby. But at the end of the day, I lost the baby in the process. That was a very huge one. And I also had health challenge. I had I think after the surgery, after the baby died, 2 days after, was it 2 days? No, it wasn't 2 days. It was after I was discharged in the hospital, thinking I was okay and all that story about the baby dying and all that. I had um, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's
Some
okay. You
of the
take your
stories,
time. This
yeah,
is
some of
a
the
lot.
stories, yeah.
Take a breath. It's okay.
I had a challenge. I had a health condition that nobody even had a name for it. Not even the doctors had a name for it. They don't know what it is. They said they called it a name. I'm sorry, I forgot the name. This condition whereby a woman cannot pass urine,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm
I should have
familiar,
looked
but I
up for the name again. I don't know. Sometimes when I'm nervous, some of the words just fly
that's
away.
all right. So you had some health issues that
So I
came
had
up.
some health issues that
Mhm.
came up that I had to I had to battle that. It was not enough that I lost a child. I had to fight this again. That health challenge that was never my like that was never part of me. Now is something that came up. I have to go to the hospital repeatedly to be able to know what this is, like what happened. The doctors said a lot of things. I The thing is, you know what? I had to go on my knees one day, pray in the bathroom, cry unto God that if you give me this chance, I know you've given me a second chance already, but if you help me to live here, I will serve you. Like, I will tell your story to the world one day. But I need you to come true for me. You see the signs you've been showing me all this time? I need you to still show me the signs so I could follow through, follow your direction, and just move. Though I was in another country because I was in Nigeria then, my parents are in Ghana, and I have to cross like two countries before getting to my own country. I have to pass through Benin Republic. I have to pass through Togo, and I have three toddlers. So I was like, oh, it's going to be hard, but I know with you everything is possible.
Mhm.
So those are the part of the obstacles that I
Mhm.
had to pass through. So with God's strength and everything, I was able to pull through that and find my escape back to my motherland, Ghana.
Yes, yes. And potential readers, are you hearing this? And this is a lot. This is a lot to process. But she had many more obstacles you will have to read to find out what they were. So, would you say, Mrs. Adu, Mrs. Adu, am I calling your last name correctly? I hope I am.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so would you say that writing this book was therapeutical for you, or did you find that it brought back so much of the pain as you wrote it and you were still enduring some of that pain as you wrote the book?
Okay, I'm going to break it down. At first, when I was typing, trying to write the book,
Mhm.
I won't lie to you, some of the memories came to me, like came down on me. I reflected on so many things, remembered so many memories. I broke down and paused, like, no, I can't do this. It's too much. It's too much because there are some things I don't even want to remember myself because when I remember the trauma, kind of, the trauma is there. But when I got the book in my hand and saw the book, I felt like it's worth it.
Worth It's worth it.
It's worth it.
Amen. Amen.
It's worth it.
Wow. That's
So it kind of gave me back that strength. I felt so victorious and happy. Like, okay, it's worth it.
why I wore purple today. Victory for you. Victory. That was a victorious moment. And I'm so
Mhm.
happy for you.
Thank you, sis.
Very happy for you. Okay, so as we get ready to near the end, is there any question that you feel I haven't addressed or asked, or anything that you would like to share about your book that you haven't shared
Um,
without putting too much out there for them? Because they need to go out there and run, not walk, and grab this book.
um, there is no question actually, but I just want to just put this out there.
Mhm.
Intuition, instincts are vital. So when we have this as humans that God has bestowed on us, as a gift that God has given to us, we should never make excuses. When your instinct says no, or you feel some kind of doubt, do not make an excuse. It means something is wrong. Something is off about that person, and your instinct or your intuition is trying to tell you. And we have some women like me that are gifted that dream that God talks to them via dreams. Please do not make excuses for that. Do not make excuses for that. Just go by it, go on your knees, pray, and God will, show you through. And if you are in the same situation or you feel you are stuck, I don't care whatever situation, you need to. I'm sorry, I talk more about God because I'm a Christian and it really works for me, and God has already come through for me. If you're a Christian listening and you are, if even if you're not a Christian, please talk to yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror. Pray. Say some good affirmations for you. You might think you just saying it's not going to work. It's spiritual. You have to look at yourself, remember yourself, what remember where you're coming from, remember what you stand for, remember where you're going, remember your dreams, your aspirations, whatever thing it is, and everything will come to limelight. It might not be easy. I'm not saying it's easy. It might not be easy from the beginning, but at the end, it will worth it when you put in the effort, because they say God helps those who helps themselves, because he can be helping you and you going the other way. And for those who want to get the book is live on Amazon, on Barnes and Noble, and also on BAM Book a Million. Yes, I have the book live there. So readers can go there and grab their copy. Like go online and grab your copy.
There was one that I missed on you, so I'm going to ask you that to share a little bit about your process with the book, because I know you said at first you didn't know, how which step to take or what to do. So
Mm-hmm.
what did you end up doing? Traditional, non-traditional, your route? Did you hire? What was your journey with the book for the audience, especially our beginning authors?
Oh, okay. It was actually traditional. It was traditional because I had to type, write and all that. So it's traditional. What I had to do is I had to use the dashboard for the publisher I used. I used their dashboard to make sure I correct errors. Um, what I did was I used between 15 to 20 minutes to type. And I also had a guide. I had a friend that told me about when you want to write a story, do not just go straight to write a story, else you will skip some important part. So what you do is you go to your book, write down the points from 1 to 10 or 1 to 20, depending how your story is. So you start from the beginning, you just write, oh, at this part, at this scene, at this so time, like you just so that it doesn't it doesn't overwhelms. So a day or two when I remember a particular thing that happened, I write it down, right, like just like that. So when I get on my computer, I just open the book and be like, okay, this is where I'm starting from. Then I keep writing. So it was just a guide and
Drafts
steps I
and
had to follow through.
then an outline. Okay, great, great.
Mhm.
So you started with your drafts, your outline, and then you went to the computer. Great.
Yeah.
And you used Amazon. Who did you use for your publishing? Who published?
Oh yes, Amazon,
Okay.
um, Barnes and Noble, and
Okay.
BAM Book a Million.
Okay. Okay. So
The platforms I have my books on.
okay. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. So what message, as we wrap up, what message would you leave your potential readers?
Okay.
Those who
The message I'm going to leave is, hey, please read and do not judge. I know it to get to a point to be like, really? Read and do not judge. So that's what I'm going to say. That is the essence of writing the book, though. It to get to a point you might want to judge me. It's okay. It's allowed. It's fine. But the after part of the story, the aftermath of the story, how it ended, how I was happy, then you will know, okay, it's worth it. But she should have done this. But that is the reason why I wrote the book, to help a sister out there. Because a sister might be going through a lot or less of what I went through and be like, if she can pull away from this and survive, I can do it. So again, readers, please read and do not judge.
An
Yes.
empowering book, a must read, a must
Thank
read. I could see this in the movie theaters
Yeah.
sometime in the future. So, as I
Amen.
said before, don't walk, run to grab your copy today. It will
Mm-hmm.
be worth it. It was a great book, a great book. So, thank you so, so very much, Mrs. Nancy Aidoo, for coming and tell us about you, about your book, and the journey and process of your book. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you too. Thank you for having me here. I'm
You
so
know what I do want to ask before you go? Are we going to see more books? Are we going to
yes,
see more books?
yes. Like it's going to be like a series. I'm going to like release the next one. So I'm working on
Okay.
that. So it
All
will be out
right. The
soon.
after the freedom, right? I love it. I love it. It
Yeah,
was
it's a new
fun.
journey I just embraced and I'm loving it and I'm going to push more. So watch out.
Yeah. It
More to
was
come.
fun meeting you and having this conversation, I'm going to call it. But
Mhm.
at the same time, we see the depths of the book and the pain and the hurt. And I felt that with you in the book. I felt that so much. I was there with you. But
Yes.
at the end, I was also very happy for the triumph and the
Mhm.
victory that I saw. So I want you guys to really enjoy this book. It was a good book. So thanks again for coming and hope to see you in the near future.
Thank you, sis.
Okay, you take care now.
All right,
Take
bye.
care, family community. Remember to subscribe, like, share, and definitely comment. We want to hear from you. Take care now.